Hey, good morning or afternoon, everyone. This is Mark Hamlin here, and today I'm going to take you through some of the free applications available from InsightWorks for Business Central to help you unlock the power of Business Central, as we say there. So let's jump into it. So we focus mostly manufacturing distribution, and now we're doing retail as well, but manufacturing distribution. So when we talk about distribution, we've got a few key applications there. There's half a dozen additional applications that we normally run in distribution environments, but these are sort of the big guys. And what we've got there are things like the enhanced planning pack. So this is for planning your purchasing, and which is sort of a must-have in distribution environments. You can't really use the standard Business Central requisition worksheet or planning worksheet very effectively. You need that enhanced planning worksheet. That's part of this enhanced planning pack. And we also do forecasting as well. And, a little bit of a spoiler, in a couple slides, we'll talk about how those two tools are now free as well. So anyway, you do all your purchase planning and your production planning and everything else to get everything ready. And then on the fulfillment side, once you've done your planning, done your production, purchasing, whatever, and you're ready to ship things out, we start with the order fulfillment worksheet. And this guy is also another must-have. And even a medium to high volume environment, it's going to automate, the generation of picks or, telling you what you can ship today. So it eliminates a ton of manual effort, manual investigation, and it really automates it. So really anybody, well, I'd say everybody needs that, but anybody doing sort of medium to high volume kind of needs that tool. You definitely know you need it if you're struggling with figuring out what you're supposed to be shipping today. Now, once we've sort of done all that planning, then we send it out to the warehouse for execution. And on that execution side, you can use our full warehouse management solution. This is the subscription-based one, or you can use WMS Express, which is free, and we're going to go over today as well, to do your picking, to do your receiving, do everything via barcoding. Once we've executed in the shop floor, or in the warehouse, we need to ship it out. And for that, we've got our full dynamic ship product, which is a subscription-based. You can do LTL, full truckload, parcel, international, all sorts of things. Or you can use OrderShip Express. And OrderShip Express is for domestic parcel shipments and works in any country, but again, it's just domestic parcel. And that'll allow you to print your shipping labels, get your shipping rates, all of that directly within Business Central without the need of any external software. All right, so that's sort of the layout for distribution. Then let's talk a little bit about manufacturing as well. Sort of same concept. You start with the planning. I talked about that enhanced planning pack. And the enhanced planning pack also includes a number of tools for production analysis, like volume analysis, production order variance, routing variance, those sorts of things in there. So if you're in manufacturing, again, almost a must-have for that. Now, once we've planned it, we send it out to schedule, and we've got two products there for scheduling. One is MX APS, and APS is advanced planning and scheduling, but I like to refer to it as automated production scheduling, because every morning at 7 a.m., there's your executable schedule for the week. And when I say executable, it means it's something I can send to the shop and they can work off, because it looks at all your constraints, material, labor, tooling, all those sorts of things to generate a realistic schedule. Or if you just need manual scheduling, you use the graphical scheduler, free, drag and drop scheduling, and away you go. Once we scheduled it, we send it out to the shop floor for execution. So, recording labor, material, all those sorts of things, recording quality, and a few others like safety logbook that we'll see today for recording HSE events and all those sorts of things. And then once we've executed it, again, now we need to fulfill it. So we've got the same tools for fulfillment, the WMS Express or Warehouse Insight or Order Fulfillment Worksheet, and Dynamic Ship or OrderShip Express to get out the door. So those are some of the key apps for those two areas, distribution and manufacturing. But really what we're here for today is to figure out, what we can do for free. And these are all the free apps, well, not all, but these are sort of the key free apps that we have available and that we're going to cover off today. So first of all, what we've got here at the top are the tools I mentioned for planning and forecasting. So those are free for a single concurrent user. So you can have multiple users using it, but only one user at a time if you're using the free version. If you get the subscription version, it's unlimited users, and you can use it across multiple companies, all that kind of stuff. But again, these allow you to do that planning and forecasting right within Business Central. And if you are in a distribution environment, you got to have this, like you just have to. If you're in a manufacturing environment, it certainly adds a ton of value, especially at the price point of a big $0 or €0 if you're in Europe. Down below, these are somewhat more technical apps that are available. But again, sort of must have, like the print node connector. If you're doing cloud printing, we'll talk about what that is. But if you're in Business Central Cloud, and I should mention, by the way, these are free in Business Central Cloud. Some of them are available on-prem if you're an existing customer, like if you need, print node connector and you're on-prem and you have one of our other products, then we can provide that. But these are all free for cloud implementations. All right. Now, cloud implementations, the print node connector, what that allows you to do is hit the print button and stuff prints the way you'd expect. You don't have to, view it as a PDF or view it in the browser to print it. So no interaction required. And if you're printing from handheld devices and stuff, this allows you to print, again, from anywhere without having any user interaction on that. Now, the connector is free. You still have to pay print node $9 a month or whatever they're charging now for that service, but it doesn't cost you anything to actually hook up to that service and use it from us. Import export power tool is more for consultants and sort of the admin users to manage data. But the barcode generator is a bit of a development tool, but it can be used. It's very useful to sort of generate your barcodes, like lists of barcodes and things like that, but typically used to add barcodes to reports from a development perspective. So we'll look at all of those. Now down below are sort of the key ones that people usually use. Graphical scheduler, we talked about drag and drop scheduling, primarily for production orders, but you can actually put anything you like on that graphical scheduler, your own custom data, any other tables within Business Central, all those sorts of things to give you visualization of that data and drag and drop capability. So very extensible, very configurable. Starts with production orders, but if you wanted to add, calendar events and things like that in there, you could do that. Doc extender is simple drag and drop document management. So the nice thing there is we hook into SharePoint. So Business Central has basic drag and drop as well. This is, much nicer. You don't have to open dialogues up and then drag into it. You just drag and drop right into Business Central, and it'll load those documents into SharePoint, or it'll load them into Business Central as attachments. And if you're using SharePoint, it's quite nice because now you've got a pretty robust document management solution with Business Central and SharePoint combined. I just drop it in there. SharePoint can look after revisions and alerts and workflows and all that kind of stuff. Now, Ordership Express and WMS Express, again, for any time you need to do barcoding or shipping from within Business Central, why would you pay for that? Well, there's a few reasons, but these are great, right? WMS Express, if all you need to be able to do is receive, pick, or ship, move products between bins and do inventory counts, it's got all that capability and it doesn't cost you anything. So you can fire it up and start barcoding literally within minutes if you wanted, and use that within Business Central. And then Ordership Express, again, generates your labels, gets your tracking information, gets your cost through the label, everything in Business Central without going to external software. You can bring your own carrier accounts to it, or you can use some of the built-in accounts, and you get discounted rates from people like FedEx and UPS and USPS if you use the built-in accounts. And again, it doesn't cost you anything for the software. And then finally, Safety Logbook. It can be used for lots of things, primarily HSE events. So if there's some sort of incident in the shop floor, but you can also use it to track certifications and anything related to employees and events that occur with those employees. All right. So it was a bit long-winded. You probably would have preferred seeing all of that in a demo. So let's jump in and actually have a look at how you would use these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through real quick and go through maybe a bit of a process flow, like a day in the life of somebody using Business Central and how that will work. So we'll start with a sales order, right? So I'm going to come into this sales order. I'm not going to create a new one. We're just going to open up this existing one here. And, standard sales order. I've already got something on it. And, away we go. There's a lot of things that we have, like this happens to be a configurable object here. We've got our own configurator that you can come in and design a custom BOM and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into it. What we're going to do is just really talk about, the free stuff. So I've got the sales order here, and customer says, yeah, that's what I want. And they, email you a PDF copy of what they're looking for, a signed, quote or whatever that you've sent them. And I want to add that as an attachment onto the sales order. So I can come down here on the line and you can see this little drop. I can just drag and drop right onto that. Or if I go to the attachments, you can see I've already dropped some stuff in SharePoint, but I can come in here and just drag and drop documents over. So if I come in here, I'm just going to, grab a couple of these guys. It can be PDF, can be any document type you like. And I'm just going to drop those in there, and it's going to come in and add those into my system. So this one I had it add in as the attached documents within Business Central. But again, I could have had to go in and drop it into SharePoint, and it creates a nice link in SharePoint that, I don't need to have Business Central to be able to find these documents based on this sales order directly in SharePoint. So it helps you expose that information to other people that may not actually have access to Business Central. All right, so at any rate, that's very simple drag and drop, dirt simple. You install it and, you're pretty much good to go. Now, let's say, I've sent them the quote and everything. They send me back PDFs that I drag and drop in, and you can drag and drop those attachments out of Outlook or, drag the whole Outlook message in there or whatever you like. Now I want to go out and maybe I want to print a pick ticket or an order confirmation or something like that for the shop floor. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit this pick instruction. We're going to print the pick instruction here. And when I do that, you'll notice a couple of things. Number one, it's already selected a printer to print to. And the reason it's done that is because we have the print node connector installed. So it knows for this particular report, we always want to print to this printer. And then this report layout here shows us, forget the ID, but it's the barcoded picking list by order. So this is a custom report that comes in from the barcode generator. So when you install barcode generator, there's a whole bunch of sample reports that come with it. And you can get the code for those sample reports off our knowledge base. So I'll point you to that as well. So if you want to modify the samples that we have, you can take them, go to town, or just modify the layout or whatever you like. So at any rate, what we've got here, this sort of illustrates we've got the print node connector installed, so it knows which printer to print to. And we're using, for this particular picking list, we're using the layout that has the barcode on it. So at this point, if I just hit print, guess what's going to happen? Well, I just printed it on that warehouse printer. I don't know whose desk that report just showed up on, but it printed it. So you can see no user interaction whatsoever. We got the form that popped up, the report options page. But in situations where you don't have that popping up, I hit print, I click this and it could just print out that report without me seeing anything. Okay. Now what that actually looked like, I'll just do a preview here just to show you the barcode. So here's the barcode on it. We've stuck a 2D, a data matrix barcode up at the top here, but you can have a standard linear barcode or whatever you like in there. That's just a function of the barcode generator and the report layout. So that's, and that barcode generator, let me just show you a couple things on the barcode generator that people sometimes overlook. There is a sample barcode list page included with barcode generator. So if we open that guy up, what it is it lets you specify, a category for your own organizational requirements, and then what you want to put in the barcode, and then the barcode type you want to generate. So those are the barcodes we support, and some of these are supported natively in Business Central, but the GS1128 is not supported by Business Central. So if you need that, you're going to want the barcode generator. But anyway, you can select the type of barcode you want, and then you can view what those barcodes are going to look like visually. You can scan stuff right off the screen if you're doing testing or things like that. Or of course you can, print out those barcodes and filter it by your category. And you've got now a good sheet you can use for, scanning barcodes, either for tests or just generating a list of barcodes you normally scan, things like that. So that sample barcode list thing is great. I use it all the time. And there's some other tools within the barcode generator. Like if you look at the reports, these are all the reports that get installed with it. And again, all of those, all the code for those reports is available, so you can grab them and you can modify these to your heart's content. All right. So that's enough on the barcode generator. But again, what we looked at, I can drag and drop very quickly and easily. And again, send that to SharePoint if I like. We've got the cloud printing, so there's no user interaction with the printing or anything else. And we've got the barcode generation. So we've got the sales order in here. So we now got demand for 3 of these bikes. And, we've done a bunch of stuff. But now what I want to do is I want to actually start doing the planning to either build or buy these bikes to get them out the door. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in and I'm going to go into the enhanced planning worksheet. And I've already run a plan, but we're gonna overwrite it. And what I'm going to do, and again, the enhanced planning worksheet, you can use this for production or purchasing, but if you're in a distribution environment, you definitely want it for your purchasing, because we've got this calculate purchase plan here that actually works in those types of environments. And that's what I'm going to run here. And the enhanced planning worksheet is free for one concurrent user. And I can come in and you can install it and use it, and it doesn't cost you anything. All of this stuff is included. I'm going to run this purchase plan for, these particular filters here, hit OK. That's going to run that plan, and we're going to get exactly the same data I had before, because that's the same plan I ran last time. But it tells me exactly what I need to manufacture or purchase. And we've got a lot of tools here. I won't get into a ton of detail on this. There are videos online on our website on how all of this works. But, this tells me exactly what I need to purchase and everything else. We've got, the bike that I was needing to produce here. So it shows it, and I can look at the supply demand, and I can see, oh yeah, we're planning on producing it, and we've got a sale for it, and all those sorts of things. So I can drill down into the sales order, all that kind of stuff. If I want to see history, if it's a part I normally stock, I can come in here, and I've got a nice visualization for my purchase and sales history on that. Tons of good stuff within this planning worksheet. But basically, I come in here, run the plan, tell us what I need, and then I can go ahead and, either just create the purchase orders and release them and email them to the vendors, or I can create the production orders and everything else from here. So that's my plan. I've run this, planned it out. I know exactly, what I need to do to, what I need to purchase and what I need to manufacture to get things going. Now, before I go into the next step, though, I'll just quickly mention the enhanced forecasting worksheet, enhanced vendor summary here. So this vendor summary is nice, again, if you're in a distribution environment, because it keeps track, either just my vendors that I care about. So I'm a buyer and I only care about these 5 vendors. Well, it shows me just the vendors I care about, what I'm planning on purchasing from those vendors, whether it meets my prepaid freight threshold by dollar amount or weight, those sorts of things. Or I can look at, all the vendors that I have planned and kind of see that, and then, open up the planning worksheet directly from here and execute on those purchase orders. So that's a nice overview tool if you're in an environment where you've got different buyers looking after different vendors. And then the enhanced forecasting worksheet, real quick, quite a nice little forecasting tool, but also fairly quick and easy and basic to use. So this uses the standard Microsoft forecasting API. And like if you go on the item list, it'll show you a little forecast by item, little chart. Well, this is the same sort of thing, but we give you a tool that you can actually use to generate forecasts within Business Central. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say for my chairs, I'm going to go in and do a 3-month forecast based on my last 18 months of history. And the question we usually get is, okay, so I have to have sales history in order to be able to use this thing. What if I don't have sales history? It was in my old system. Guess what? That's where that free import-export power tool comes in, because it makes it very easy to import historical sales data into Business Central without having to post a bunch of journals or anything weird. There is a video online for that. It's like importing data into Business Central, I think, on our website or on our YouTube channel. And it shows you how you can import that historical data very quickly and easily. Anyway, I've got a bunch of historical data already. I want to see what my next 3 months is supposed to look like. I hit calculate forecast. It says, hey, you actually only have 15 months and not 18. So yeah, that's fine. We'll use 15, I guess. And it goes out and it runs the forecast for me. And so I've got a 3-month forecast. Sorry, my work date is last year, but it shows me for this month, I'm going to need, we're expecting to sell 11, this one 7 and 7. And then I can just update the demand forecast in Business Central. And then the planning tools, the enhanced planning worksheet, will use these forecasted numbers to generate my requirements. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of other capabilities of this thing, but if you're interested, check out the videos that go into this in more detail. All right, now I've entered my sales order. I've planned it. Um, I've done the forecasting, all those sorts of things. I now need to schedule this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into this graphical scheduler, right? So I've carried out the action messages. I've created a bunch of production orders, and I open up the graphical scheduler, and it shows me all the production orders that I've planned so far. Now, again, this shows me production orders by default, but if I'm in a distribution environment, maybe I want to make these things on the left here my loading docks, and I can plan my loading docks using this if you want. That's just configuration. You can go into this thing called the views, and you can create a view on almost any data within Business Central, right? So you can, and again, go online on our website or our YouTube channel, and this will go through how you can set up these views and everything else. But from a production perspective, this is pretty cool. These are all my production orders. And on this particular one, I've also shown maintenance on here, and away we go. So this visualizes the production order. I can click on that. And if I want to zoom in, I can zoom in and out. But one of the nice things is I can just right click and say zoom to document, and that's going to zoom in and make sure that that entire production order is visible on the screen at the same time. And then I can drag and drop or zoom in and out and all of those sorts of things. So the drag and drop capability is there. Of course, if I take this and move it over, it's going to reschedule that, and it's going to reschedule all the related operations and everything as well. So great tool for visualizing your production data and doing drag and drop scheduling. Whole bunch of tools. Again, there's a pretty in-depth online video on how this all works and how you can set it up and everything else. Definitely look at that if you want to have a tool to visualize your data, especially production order data and everything else. All right, so now I've scheduled that. I now need to go out and execute it. We have a tool called Shop Floor Insight that I mentioned earlier that will allow you to go out and record labor and everything else. But let's say, in Business Central, somebody hurt themselves, or I want to check certifications or something like that. I can come in here and I can use the safety logbook to check all that detail. So for certifications, what's nice is, again, you can track certifications and who is involved in the certification, all those sorts of things. And then you could do, a view like the one I've got here that shows me all my expiring certifications in the next month or week or whatever it happens to be. So if I open that one up, just as a quick aside, I'm going to go into the other ones in a sec. We've got the certification. You can list all the details, comments, all that kind of stuff. And so this happened to be the forklift certification. These are all the people certified, and I know exactly, when it's going to expire, and I can plan for that ahead of time. So it's not just safety. You can use it for a whole bunch of different, pieces of information within the system. Now, if it is a safety incident, like, somebody injured themselves and then we had to do training, or somebody spilled some chemical or something like that, it's a great tool because it's got all the fields you need for, sort of a safety reporting system. So all of the different, severity tools, who's involved and how they were involved, all of that kind of stuff is there. And again, dock extender to drag and drop. I probably shouldn't show this because that looks like an owie, but you can include images of what happened and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great tool for logging all the events that occur in the environment. It's really intended for shop floor stuff, but you could use it, forklift certifications or incidents that happen in a warehouse, like a rack fell over, hopefully not, but all of that kind of stuff, whether you're distribution or manufacturing. Great little tool, quick and easy to install and set up, and away you go. All right, so that's the safety logbook. There's an online video for that as well if you want to see how it works in a lot more detail. All right, so we had the sales order, we printed with barcode generator and print node, we dragged and dropped with dock extender, and we planned what we needed to do based on that sales order using an enhanced planning worksheet. We did some execution and tracked from an HSE perspective what was going on with it. And if you get shop floor insight, you can record labor and material and everything on the shop floor. or if you want to, do the more advanced scheduling, you could use MXAPS. But so far, all we've covered are the free tools. Now, the next thing is, I use the enhanced planning worksheet to go and create a bunch of purchase orders. They come in the door, so now I need to go ahead and receive those orders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up WMS Express, which is a free tool again, to allow me to do that receiving. So what I've got here is I've got a handheld in my hand, and you're about to see that here in a sec as soon as I make it visible. Of course, I didn't want to make it visible the first time. Let's give that another shot. There we go. All right, so this is, it doesn't matter what device you run it on. You can even run it on a phone for testing. But, whether you've got a full device with a physical keypad and everything else, or a device that's just got, a touch screen, doesn't really matter in the device. This is the full Warehouse Insight. It's got, all the icons and everything else. This guy here is WMS Express. So to install that, you've got the same application. You've just got a fewer number of capabilities to look at. So the way this works, and the video is lagging a little bit here, so you'll see a little bit of disconnect, but this is the screen that you're seeing on this handheld device. So let's say, I want to do receiving. And again, this is sound like a broken record, but there is a online video that shows you how you can set this up, how you can get going. If you set up a device like this before, setting up WMS Express takes 10 minutes or less, and you're up and running with barcoding in Business Central. That's it. That's how quick and easy it is to get going on this. And as soon as I do that, as soon as I've configured this device, you scan a few barcodes and away you go. Here's a list of all the purchase orders within Business Central. And then I can just grab the purchase order I want. And if you have the physical keypad, so I can't see what I'm tapping here. If you have the physical keypad, you can just hit enter, or on here I can come in and use choose, or I can double tap that entry to open it up. But I'll just come in and I'm going to open up that purchase order. It's going to show me everything I need to receive on that PO. And now I just scan a barcode. And this can be a vendor barcode. It can be your own custom barcode. If you want, you can actually come in here and hit print. You got to make the print button available, but it's just a setting. I can hit print, and I can actually print out labels right from the device, because we've got print O connector and barcode generator, so we can do that. We can print barcodes right from the device. But assuming I've got everything barcoded, and here's that sample barcode list I showed you earlier that I printed out with all the barcodes I use for demos. But I'm going to come in here. I've got a package that I received. I'm just going to scan the barcode for that package. It's going to optionally show me a picture, and this is all automatic. It's just coming, data's coming in for Business Central. I didn't have to do any setup. And then I enter the quantity I received out of that box, and it's as simple as that. We've updated Business Central, and it's telling me I have 8 more of those to receive. If I find more of those, I just scan the barcode. The option shows me the picture again, if you like, and I receive the remaining quantity, and we're good to go. So there's a bit of lag here you can see, but on the video, there it goes. It's as quick and simple as that, right? Beep, and you're done. And again, WMS Express, it works with shipping, receiving, bin movements, inventory counts and all that. So yeah, you can see the lag there, the update, and 10 seconds later, this review updates. But you get the general idea. You can come in 10 minutes and you've got barcoding available inside Business Central, very quick and easy. And if you need the full WMS stuff with a lot more, you can get Warehouse Insight. The WMS Express, for most people, is actually all the solution you'll ever need. Okay, so that's WMS Express. Now, after I've received it and everything else, what I'm going to do now is I still have to do production and everything else, but now I'm going to go ahead and ship this product out. So for that, I'm going to go back into the sales order here. Open that up. All right, so we go into the sales order, and I think my webcam slowed everything down after I fired it up, but now we're just waiting on this thing to load up. All right, so what I want to do is now ship this product out. So I'm going to go in and, you can get Dynamic Ship. It's got a whole bunch of goodies on there, but Order Ship Express provides you, sort of these two actions. And I'm going to hit this create shipping labels right from the sales order. And it's using the default carrier and service for this customer, but I can have other carriers and everything in here, and I can select which carrier I want to either check rates for or just get a label. And so now what I do is I say I'm shipping, 4x6 by 8 box that's 2 pounds. And you can do multi-package shipments. So if you're shipping FedEx or whatever, you want to ship 3 boxes, you can do that. And that's basically it. Now I can just hit get label, and I'll get a shipping label for this customer, USPS Express, for this package, and I'm good to go. However, if I first want to see what it's going to cost me to ship it express, I can just hit this get rate, and it tells me it's going to cost me $40 here to get that label, and I'm going to charge the customer 51 because I've got a markup rule in there. And I can change this price if I like. If I want to do it at cost or give them a break, I can do that here or right back on the sales order. But that's basically it. I hit get rate and away I go. Now I can change some options. Maybe I don't need the adult signature. Let's see what it costs if I don't need a signature. Well, it's $8 less if I don't get a signature. So I'm going to do that. I just hit get label, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to go out, get the label, and automatically print that out because we've got the print note connector. There's no other interaction required. That label printed out on my label printer, and away we go. If I just want to see what it looked like, I can go to this. This is the label I just produced here. I've done this demo a few times, but here's a label, and it looks like a USPS label. This would print out typically on a label printer, slap it on the box, and away you go. It's got the tracking number, everything on that label, and all of that information has come back into Business Central. So there's an option in Order Ship Express to also add the shipping charge. So we added in what we're charging the customer for shipping automatically based on the cost of that label to us. So you can make sure you're never losing money on your shipping charges, right? So we know exactly what we're supposed to charge the customer. And then, of course, if we go down, we've also included the tracking number back from USPS in this case, or FedEx, or UPS, or DHL, or Purolator, or whatever carrier you're using. That'll all work automatically. And Order Ship Express, again, is free, and it takes like 10 minutes to set up, right? It takes very little effort to set up. There is an online video that goes into detail on how that works, and away you go, right? So even if you rarely ship, like maybe you only ship, one thing every few weeks or something like that, or maybe the only time you ship stuff is when you send a package of documents to your accountant or something, install this guy, use it. And you do need an address on a sales order in order to be able to ship things from this, but I don't actually have to post the sales order. I could generate the shipping label and then delete the sales order if I wanted, those sorts of things. The other thing that people say is, well, yeah, I don't want our shipping department to be able to see, sales orders or work in sales orders. Well, Business Central actually has a page called Sales Order Shipping. And sales order shipping is what you'd use if you want a bit of a division between your warehouse personnel or the people doing the shipping and, the sales side of things. So sales order shipping, if I come into that, it is basically a sales order, but it's designed to be more useful for shipping. So we've got, a few different things that a shipper could edit here. And we've got the sales lines, but it doesn't show pricing or any of those sorts of things on here. It just shows us what we're supposed to ship out the door. And again, I can create my shipping labels from here. So if you want your warehouse to do the shipping from within Business Central, they can be running the sales order shipment screen, and they can ship everything from here. And this also works if you're using warehouse shipments. I don't ship from the warehouse shipment. I ship from this screen or the sales order screen. But I can still ship warehouse shipments and generate shipping labels for those with Order Ship Express. So a great little tool. So between WMS Express and Order Ship Express, you've got your picking, your barcoded picking, your barcoded receiving, and your shipping all handled. And again, the big limitation on Order Ship Express is it doesn't do the international. So it's domestic parcel only. If you need international shipping and LTL and full truckload and packaging interface, like a packaging validation interface, all of those sorts of things and more, look at Dynamic Ship. It's got a ton of good stuff there. But for a lot of people, that Order Ship Express, should just be a default thing that you install in the environment. Again, if you do have any other questions, go to our website. There's a chat box there. There's a contact form. There's links to, dozens and dozens of videos on all the products. Check it out. Let us know if you have any feedback. If you do install any of the free apps and you like them, please leave a review on AppSource for us. That would be appreciated. Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. All right. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and hopefully we will be talking again soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more great content, and remember to hit that bell icon to stay updated. See you in the next video.